They say every town has its own secret. Some are whispered in hushed tones, others locked away in police files that never see the light of day. But in a small town on the edge of Pennsylvania, there is a story that residents never dare to speak of after dark. It began in the late 1990s, when a young woman named Sarah Mitchell moved into an old Victorian house she had inherited from her grandmother. The house stood at the end of a narrow road, surrounded by woods so thick that even the moonlight struggled to seep through. To Sarah, it seemed like the perfect escape from the noise of city life. But to the locals, that house was a place of shadows. From the very first night, Sarah felt something was off. It wasn't just the creaking of the floorboards or the howling of the wind through the trees. It was the silence. A suffocating, heavy silence that seemed to press against her chest. The neighbors never came close, and the mailman always dropped her letters at the edge of the fence, never stepping onto the property. One evening, Sarah invited a friend over. As they sat drinking coffee, her friend froze mid-sentence, staring at the hallway behind Sarah. "Who's here?" she whispered. Sarah turned, but the hall was empty. When pressed, her friend swore she had seen a dark figure standing just beyond the doorway, watching them. From that night on, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Doors would slam shut on their own, lights flickered even after electricians inspected the wiring, and the sound of footsteps echoed in the hallway when she was alone. But the worst part came after midnight. Sarah often woke to find her bedroom colder than ice, her breath visible in the air. Sometimes she'd hear faint whispers calling her name. And on more than one occasion, she woke up to find the outline of a figure standing at the foot of her bed, tall and motionless, blending into the darkness. She tried to tell the townspeople. Most shrugged it off, others avoided her entirely. Finally, an elderly man, who had lived there his entire life, gave her a warning. "Whatever you do, child, don't let the darkness follow you. That house doesn't keep it in. It spreads it." But by then, it was already too late. By the winter of 2001, Sarah's health had declined drastically. She looked pale, with dark circles under her eyes, as if she hadn't slept in weeks. Friends who visited described her as paranoid, broken, almost hollow. She confided to one of them that the figure wasn't just watching anymore. "It whispers to me," she said in a trembling voice. "It tells me to leave the lights off. It tells me to open the windows. It wants me outside at night." Her friend urged her to move, but Sarah insisted the darkness would follow her no matter where she went. On the night of January 14th, Sarah disappeared. Her car was still parked in the driveway, her phone on the kitchen counter, and her front door left wide open. Police searched the woods for days, volunteers combed through the icy terrain, but there was no trace of her. The only thing investigators noted was a single set of footprints in the snow, leading away from the house. But those prints stopped abruptly in the middle of the forest, as though she had simply vanished into thin air. The case remains unsolved to this day. The house was eventually boarded up, left to rot under layers of ivy and decay. But strange reports still surface. Teenagers who break in for dares often flee within minutes, claiming they felt someone breathing down their necks or heard whispers in the walls. Hunters in the nearby woods tell of hearing screams at night, or seeing a shadow darting between the trees. In 2015, a paranormal investigation team entered the property. Their footage, which was never officially released but leaked online, showed something terrifying. In the last 5 minutes of their recording, as they walked through the upstairs hallway, the camera picked up a dark, humanoid figure standing at the end of the corridor. Its form was not solid, more like a mass of moving shadows, shifting and pulsating as though alive. One investigator screamed, the camera shook, and the video cut out. The team never returned. Some say Sarah's spirit still lingers, consumed by whatever darkness had claimed her. Others believe the entity was never human to begin with, that it was something older, something born of the woods themselves. A predator that waits until nightfall to roam freely. And yet, the most chilling accounts come from people who were nowhere near that house. A few former residents of the town claim that after hearing Sarah's story, they began to notice the same signs, the whispers at night, the cold air pressing against their skin, and the unshakable feeling of being watched from the shadows. As one witness put it, it doesn't stay there. It spreads. If you've heard this story, you've already invited it in. So tonight, if you feel the weight of silence pressing around you, if you hear faint footsteps in the dark when you know you're alone, don't look. Don't speak. And whatever you do, don't turn off the lights. Because the darkness that lurks at night may already be standing in your room.